Hello everybody, this is Chris with Game Gumshoes. Today I want to present to you Pajaggle. It's one of the games we picked up at Gen Con this year, and it's a very interesting game. It's by Pajaggle Inc. It's for individual play or two teams or multiple people. It all depends on how you want to play it. Very versatile game, very portable. They say age ranges 8 and up. But I know I tested it out on 6-year-olds and kept their attention. They kept playing with it, trying to figure it out. Some of the things I'm going to say in this review may seem a bit morbid, but this is just life. This is the way it works out. So basically with Pajaggle, you get the game, and the game consists of the box, the carrying tray, the game board and pieces, a key to push the pieces, we'll talk about that more in a minute, a timer, a little baggie to put your pieces in, and these 5 rule cards, which have what I read is about 11 separate sets of rules. And you can make up your own sets of rules because as you start playing, you find different ways to make it interesting. So we'll cover the rules here in a minute, and we'll cover the pieces. Now, the interesting thing about Pajaggle is when you start off with the board, it's completely empty, and it has all these little holes in it. And that's where your little key comes in. If you put the wrong piece in the hole, because each and every single piece on this is custom fit. There is no 2 pieces can possibly go in the same. They may look the same. They may even be the same size. I mean, every detail might seem the same, but there's definitely something different. These are precisely machined to only fit into one hole. That's probably the greatest thing about this game, is that, you know, no matter how clever you are, no matter how visually aware you think you are, this will throw you way off. I don't know if you can see on my finished board here, but in some cases, there are even pieces inside pieces. I finished this board just to time myself. It took me about 7 minutes. Not saying I'm the greatest. I've heard there's actually been someone that do it blindfolded in like 3 minutes, or maybe it was 2 minutes 11 seconds, something like that. Now, the way we were introduced to it is we were given the tray full of parts. The timer was set at 3 minutes, and we needed to find out how many pieces we could get in the tray in those 3 minutes. Now, the rules state that, let me see if I can pop it out here. Yeah. This piece, the center piece, is supposed to be the last piece to go in. Probably because it's the most obvious piece on the board. But, you know, play as you wish. Rules are only meant as guidelines. Please play the game, enjoy. Now, something we found to be the easiest way to put your game away once you've got it like this is you can, because of the clever way this box is constructed, there are little grooves on the sides of the tray, and you basically just slide it onto your game pieces and then flip it, and then you just slide your board back off. Board's empty again, tray's full of pieces, and you can either start a new game or you can go ahead and slide everything in one corner and put all your pieces back in your bag. But I'll worry about that a little bit later. So, now I cover the rules. Card 1 is basically just information on how you can reach Pajaggle Inc., the makers of this game, as well as definitions of different terms used in the rules. Pajaggle, Pajiggle, Pajiggler, Doubler, and Barrier. Now, so something about the cards is it'll tell you how many players can play. So this one says 1+, how many sets of pieces, because yes, you can order separate pieces. And then over here it tells you how many boards. Now, from my understanding, there are 3 different boards. I have the black and red set, which is called the Ladybug. And then I also have one that's purple and orange. And then there's also a blue and red set. But you can buy the individual pieces separately. So time and tournament are both solo, 1 set of pieces, 1 board, 1 player or more. There's also a solo countdown, which is like I was saying. You find out how long it takes you to... someone was played at Gen Con. I'm not going to go over all the rules. Sorry. But I will tell you, there are some that specifically say 2 players, 1 set, 1 board. The green card is 2 player, 1 set, 1 board, and the Chaos and the Reverse Chaos games are 2 players, 2 sets of pieces, and 2 boards. So I can play that as well. There is at least 1 set of rules which I wasn't able to play, which is the Triad. It has 3 players, 3 sets of pieces, and 1 board. I think that could actually be interesting. But, well, 3rd set of pieces, a little bit difficult. The ones that stood out, obviously, are the time tournament. But this Stepping Stones set was kind of cool. And, you're basically working at either end of the board trying to get all the way across. And we thought that was really cool. Now here's for the spot where it gets a little morbid. I know when I do my written reviews, I always talk about how, I love to have a game that's very portable, very sturdy. If you got the game at Gen Con, you got this little carrying bag, a little Pajaggle bag. I don't know if they send it to everyone that buys a copy. That would be really cool. No guarantees though. See if it's available if you go to order it off their website, or check with retailers and see what they say. But portability is very important to us because we like to go to bars and game stores and coffee shops and restaurants and various places to play our games. And so with this being plastic, obviously if we spill something on it, it's not going to be an issue. We took it out on my birthday and ended up letting someone in the parking lot sit there and play a copy of it while we got to go in and eat, and then they eventually brought it to us. Because they were, waiting half hour, 45 minutes to wait to be seated, and they saw us playing games. I'm like, well, hey, you want a copy? And so they played. Our game store, we have someone who's OCD, and we're like, hey, man, I got a game for you. And he sat down and played it, and, he really enjoyed this game. It's one of the top 3, I would say, out of all of the games we saw at Gen Con. Like I said, it's been played at restaurants, bars. It's a real attention getter because people are trying to figure out why you've got a timer sitting there and what you're doing. Like I said, trying to get to the morbid part. It's so portable and so easy to play. that you remember the 6-year-olds I mentioned. Well, unfortunately, my uncle passed away, and at funerals, everyone's aware how children have a tendency to like to run around, and parents aren't necessarily watching them because they're busy grieving over the people they've lost. Well, in this particular case, I'm crazy Uncle Chris. I'm the guy that's got all the games and toys in my trunk. And so I went out to the car and I grabbed this game and another game that you'll hear about a little bit later from Kid Gumshoe. And, I sat the little kids down with them, and it basically kept them occupied and not running around looking like they were going to knock anything over. So yeah, it definitely screams a lot when you can get, 6 to 12-year-olds sit down and focus on working together as a team to try to see if they can complete the board. So I highly recommend this game. I give it an A+ for craftsmanship. I will let you know that the timer does not have an on-off switch. So once you've pulled the little tab, unless you pull the battery out every time you play, your battery's going to eventually run out, but that's batteries. It happens. If we were to fault people for batteries, just think how many people would be going after Candy or Operation and not wanting to play it. So yeah, if you get a chance, pick up Pajaggle. It's from Pajaggle Inc. You can look them up on the internet. Go into your local game store, hobby shop, craft store, whatever, and ask if they can have it ordered. Not so much the craft store, although a lot of the places I go to have paints and whatnot. But I digress. But yeah, check into their website. Check at your local hobby shops, game stores, see if they have it. As far as I can tell, I have not seen a copy at a big box store yet. But Christmas time's coming up, so maybe if they get enough buzz, they'll start showing up in various stores. So that's my review for Pajaggle. Please pick it up if you can, and thank you for joining us again this week.